Basement Politics Unfiltered. Host, Freddie Vasquez. Tonight, the super, the building, and the commissioner. Good evening. Good evening. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight's episode is the super, the building, and the commissioner. Tonight I'll talk about a few things. But first, I'm going to start off with what I mentioned earlier today in the rush hour report regarding the Yonkers City Public Schools superintendent. Rumors are swirling around the town regarding Superintendent Edwin Quesada and the potential firing of Dr. Quesada from the position as superintendent of the public schools here in the city of Yonkers. Now, why would they fire a man who many have said has been doing a good job, has helped to improve the schools a bit, although it's not easy. There's a lot of politics, a lot of red tape, and many times you're operating in a manner that seems like you have your hands tied behind your back. This is according to some. And tonight I'll be also speaking about the building department. And very recently, the building department saw the resignation of its building commissioner, Vincent Peachy Jr. And again, rumors swirl as to why that happened. And many say he had a rift with the mayor or butted heads with the mayor. But going back to Quesada, many have said, and even I have been told this, and I've asked about the superintendent, and I've heard mostly good things. I've heard about some incidents in the past, things that I won't mention. But for the most part, in terms of the schools and what he's done, it seems like he's tried to really improve the schools. He's tried to work hard, and even very recently with the pandemic and the COVID-19, it seems like Dr. Quesada, although he wants to always assure the safety of our children, our students, our children, my children attend the schools as well, their health and physical safety, he also wants them to get an education and understands the impact that the remote learning and shutting down has done on the kids' education. Their future will be impacted significantly. And although we cannot see that now, that is a fact. And Mr. Quesada, or Dr. Quesada, was someone who always championed and always tries to assure he does everything to keep things rolling as normal as possible, considering the times. So if I hear such good things about him, for the most part, yeah, I do. I mean, considering everyone else that I've heard things about, he's pretty good. Why would they fire him? Or why would they look to fire the superintendent of the Yonkers City School? The superintendent is it's a tough job. Everything that goes wrong with the schools, you take the blame. When the schools do well, the mayor takes the credit. Although it is a high-paying job, I believe somewhere around $274,000 a year. Wow, very nice. It is tough. It is a lot of work, and taking on a district like Yonkers is not easy, considering that there are a lot of things that come along with that. So I've dug a little deep and I asked around, and my initial thought was it had to do with the COVID-19 vaccines, or I should say mandates, and his unwillingness maybe to just quickly lock schools down. But it doesn't have anything to do with that, of course. Why would I be so naive? It's always about politics here in the city of Yonkers, especially when it comes to city of Yonkers politics. And according to sources that I've spoken to, the firing of Quesada would give way for Nader Sayegh to become the new superintendent of the Yonkers Public Schools, something that Mr. Sayegh, who is currently an assemblyman, has longed for, but has never been chosen. Now he may be given an opportunity if they can somehow get rid of Quesada. However, there are contracts, and lawyers have to review these contracts to assure that Mr. Quesada doesn't lose his job, but also walk away with millions of dollars. And do they care? Will they fire him anyway? The city constantly gets sued and pays money out all the time. That's money that can go towards things that we need done here, improvements, programs, schools, right? From what I hear, Mr. Quesada is looking at his options in the event that he is fired. And if he is fired, will Nader Sage be his replacement? Why are they looking to replace Quesada with a gentleman like Nader Sage? Well, again, it all goes back to the mayor's position. It's all about the mayor's seat. They know that Nader Sage has interest in becoming mayor, and he would be a strong candidate. Nader Sage has a lot of political connections. He has a lot of business connections, wealthy donors, and he can put on a strong campaign. If he were to win, then that means trouble for the current machine. Nader Sage would be king. The mayor of the city of Yonkers is king, according to many. The mayor does whatever he or she wants, is in control of $1.4 billion, a budget that's almost as large as the entire county. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of dough. Will Nader Sage take the position if offered to him, if Quesada is fired? Well, it's tempting. $274,000 a year salary. Who wouldn't take that if offered to you? It's a low-key position, although it's been tough with the pandemic. But you are not in the constant spotlight like the mayor. The mayor, I believe, currently makes just about $160,000. If I'm wrong, please let me know and comment the actual salary there. But I believe it's about that. But it's not as much as the superintendent's position. But it's not about the salary. The income or salary that a mayor makes here in the city of Yonkers is irrelevant. It's chump change. That's what you keep in your sock. The real money is in what you see going up here in the city of Yonkers on the waterfront and the transactions that we don't know about that happen between these multimillionaire developers and some elected officials. Well, very recently in the Bronx, as many of you know, 19 people lost their lives in a high-rise development owned by a wealthy developer. Now the developer is under the microscope and is come under fire for the condition that the building was in. And as I read the article, I started to think to myself, could there be an incident like that here in the city of Yonkers? It seems like these developments are going up pretty quickly and everyone's rushing to get the money. It's all about the Benjamins. So, will they fire Edwin Quesada, Dr. Quesada, superintendent of the Yonkers City Public Schools, to make way for Nader Sage, assemblyman, friend to Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, and also has a big ally in well-known community activist Lorraine Lopez, who knows how to pull a vote or two. So will he say, screw the superintendent position? I don't want it anymore. I'm going for the mayor's seat. I want to be king. Will his ego get the best of him? Time will tell. Will Edwin Quesada get fired? Maybe not. Not after everyone starts publicly speaking about it. It will be very obvious that that was the plan. So I'm speaking about it very publicly. But it is my duty, I guess, my self appointed duty to do so. And I'm going to do just that. Let me go to some of the comments. Dr. Q has been doing a good job considering what's going on. Absolutely. And that's what many people say, which is what led me to wonder why. And I started to think about the whole pandemic and mandates. But then I said, this is Yonkers. This is Yonkers, Freddie. What's really going on here? And I started to dig a bit deeper, and this is what I've been hearing now. It's about making way for Nader Sayegh. Sorry, but that set, it could very well be. 2.2 billion budget was my last look at Yonkers financials. Ooh, so I was way off. It's all about the money. Yeah, that's right. It's all about the money. It's absolutely all about the money. So, what do you think? Do you think that Dr. Quesada will be fired? Do you believe that that's a possibility? Would you vote for Nader Sayegh if he ran for mayor? Maybe he might say, you know what? There are going to be a lot of big names going for that position. I hear Senator Shelley Mayer may be going for that seat. I also hear Chuck Lesnick may be running for mayor, as well as Republican John Larkin. Who are the Republicans going to introduce into the race for mayor? Will it be John Larkin or will it be a Latino? Maybe one that grew up on the Southwest side, on Buena Vista. Only time will tell. Will Zahi run as a write-in candidate for mayor? Stay tuned. Same bat channel, same bat time. Well, we'll see. That's the word on the street. That's what rumors are, swirling about Dr. Quesada and possibly being fired in order to make way for Assemblyman Nader Sayegh to become the next superintendent, so that he does not go for the mayor's seat, clearing that for whoever the machine wants. That's if they don't push for a fourth term, which has also been talked about a lot recently by many. And that concerns a lot of people. And they're planning and plotting of what to do to prevent a fourth term, because it just doesn't mean the mayor goes for a fourth term, but the council members as well. I guess these are the options that they're weighing out, and they're going to see. What about Mike Spano for assemblyman? Nader Sayegh, superintendent, Mike Spano, assemblyman, and Corazon Pineda, mayor. John Rubel, mayor. Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, mayor. Shanae Williams, mayor. By the way, Shanae, you don't have to make the extra comments when you're going to speak. Like the other day when you were in the meeting about, I don't know, budget meeting, you were talking about the youth thing and the youth bureau, and you said that I'm in full support of program. She goes, I want to start by saying I'm the youngest one here. I'm the youngest member here. And, I consider myself pretty young, youthful. And because of that, I very much have to support youth programs. Why do you have to add that you're the youngest member in the council chambers? Why? I don't know. But anyway, so moving on. City of Yonkers, and this is for those who, like me, are paying attention to the building department. They had a meeting recently where they brought in two gentlemen. I didn't get the name because I don't know what's going on there, but they had a couple commercials before the meeting started. Then it changed to what's that guy's name? Al Sharpton. And then it went on to the meeting. From Al Sharpton, it went to Mike Breen. And then Mike Breen is talking about a gentleman by the name of Lang something. Anyway, gentleman talks all about the building department, what's going on in the building department, the process, of getting a permit what are, some of the issues that are preventing permits from being issued much quicker, how many employees, the budget, and all that good stuff. And it seems like someone is trying to audit in a slight way, or trying to maybe get the building department to finally get its act together. According to someone I recently spoke, someone that's well connected, very close to the what's going on there in City Hall. Uh, they are working. The mayor is upset with the way the building department is, and it's time to get these guys moving. According to people that I've spoken to, it's about getting the inspectors out there. And I won't lie, that day that I got kicked out of the building department, if you remember that video when the police escorted me out, whatever. As I walked out, I saw all the inspectors like hanging out there, like all the guys that work for the building department just chilling there. And I look at them and I go, "Are you guys working? Maybe this is why the permits are not being issued quick enough." But for those who may be interested and may not understand the process, right? And according to the gentleman that Mr. Landy, he gave his assessment, and he said that the biggest problem in the Yonkers building department is the permit approval process, and it takes too long. But I would beg to differ. I'd give a few more reasons why, a few more problems within the building department. Consider one of them being the attitudes of those who work there, the culture of the people that work there. Trust me, they're very different when they have a camera on them. Very much act a lot nicer to you. But anyway, so that's the biggest problem. So that's only one of the problems, Mr. Landy. But anyway, if you do not know, I just want to go over the permit process really quick. So the way it goes, okay, you file an application, and the application for the permit can either be signed by the homeowner, um, a professional engineer or an architect, or a licensed contractor, general contractor, or home improvement, but that depends on the project. So for example, if you are like I was selling a house once, and the people who I bought it from did not get permits to do a finished basement. So in order for me to sell it, I had to not get the permit for it. But I did not need a contractor because the work was already done. So the realtor actually just sketched it out, the basement, and submitted that with the building department. So in those instances, you don't necessarily need an architect, professional engineer, or even a contractor. But if you're building a deck, you can use a contractor. He can sketch it out as long as he knows what he's doing. He can do a good sketch. You don't need an architect again or engineer because they cost money. And this is my issue. When I have to go back to revise plans, or anyone has to go back to amend plans, make revisions, the architects charge you, and they're not cheap. So anyway, the first step is getting your application and stating what the application and what the purpose are for the permits are for. What are you looking to do? And then you usually would have plans. So most instances you're going to have plans, especially if you're removing something, you're adding something like a wall or whatever, or building another structure. So things like that, where you're changing the layout, changing the way it is from the certificate of occupancy, right? It shows what how this is all. And the plans that are there already, right? So if you're going to change that, you have to get an architect or an engineer to go in there and do plans. So that's the next step, and that costs money. Architects are not cheap. They can be anywhere from $2,000. That's really low on the low end. Trust me. I don't usually pay $2,000. To 10,000, 7 to 10 is usually where I'm at when I pay architects. So for people who are looking for a career, be an architect. One project, you make 7-10 grand. That's good money. And those guys work at their own pace too. At least the really good ones anyway, whenever they feel like it. So that's the next step. And then you submit those plans once the engineer or architect has completed them. And then now they get reviewed by a plan examiner. Currently, they're going to be currently there are 4 plan examiners in the building department. So there are 4 plan examiners, and I believe they have 2 part-time guys or temporary guys to assist with all these applications. They say about 20 to 30 applications come in a day, 20 to 30. And then you have these developers going crazy. And so 4 plan examiners, it's crazy. There definitely is a need for more, but they did include money in their budget for 2022 for 2 more full-time plan examiners. Now, the gentleman that you saw in the video there, who I was kind of going a little bit back and forth with, and he was kind of started, talking a little. He's a plan examiner. His name is Michael Rappy, and the reason why I was upset with him is this: plan examiners review your plans. So he told me, and they make themselves seem like they're nice, but they BSing me. So he tells me, listen, once you get your plans revised again, give them to me first. I'll review them for you and just make sure they're good. This is after we had a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and he reviewed my plans and he told me exactly what I needed to do in order to get this forward. That's what I did. When I gave him the plans, it took 3 weeks for him to finally get back to me, and they were all marked up. And I said, well, why didn't you mention any of this when we met the first time? So it pissed me off because it was just BS, and he's just dragging his feet. He even told me it was a time sensitive matter, and he took 3 weeks. So, but if you're not me, you shouldn't have any issues with the plans or anyone messing with you. So as long as your architect knows what they're doing, for the most part, and every building department is different. Town codes are different, municipalities. So, you can't always fault an architect if they don't understand maybe Yonkers, if they do a lot of work, let's say in Rockland County or somewhere else. But they should kind of figure it out. But that's the next step. And hopefully you get it approved. If you don't, they'll tell you why they didn't approve it. They'll make their remarks. I've been disapproved twice. So I'm hoping the third time's a charm here. I'll be going into submit my plans if they let me in, because I hear they have a picture of me in the building department and it says, don't let that Rican in. All right. Wanted dead or alive. Don't let him in at all cost, especially if he has a camera. So after the plan examiner again reviews it, fire department, zoning has to review it. Then they approve it. If it does, then it goes to the inspection station, right? And that's where all the inspectors, like the guy Jimmy, who surrounded me and threatened to get a warrant to come into my business. Yeah, Jimmy, the blonde-haired guy, the inspector guy, who eventually got in because I let him in. I had nothing to hide. I just wanted to give him a hard time. And they inspected. They looked around. They made sure I didn't have any pounds of cocaine and marijuana, because that's what it looked like. It looked like they were looking for drugs. And they interrogated one of my employees. I have that on video. Jimmy did. And so then they played nice. And Jimmy says, the only issue I see here is that wall that's missing, that's supposed to be there on the plan. It's on the plans, but it's not there. I don't know, Jimmy. I didn't take the wall down. The owner can't tell me. So he says, I'm going to look at it for you. Don't worry. I'll give you a call. I'm going to check it out, call you. We're going to take care of this, because that's really the only thing I see. Minor things like a bar in the bathroom, a handicap bar, which I have installed, and getting my fire extinguishers inspected, which I have done. So when I went that day to the building department, I see Jimmy behind the glass, and he walks by and say, hey, Jimmy, did you ever look at that? Because you never called me back. And he looked at me and goes, I don't know, talk to the plan examiner, and kept walking. That's how they treat you. So when the person at this meeting, at the city council meeting, says that the only issue that they find is that there is a huge waiting time in getting your permits approved, I beg to differ, mister. I think the attitudes and of the people that work there, I don't know if they're just rude people. I don't know if they're just lazy. I don't know what it is, but they are not very helpful. And that culture also causes problems within an organization. I mean, that's very important. I mean, anyone that's taken business classes, organizational management and operation is very important. So get it together and fix the attitudes of the people, and don't tell people who go there that you're doing them a favor if you're at your job getting paid. That's not a favor. You're supposed to be there. You're getting paid to be there, right? And taxpayer money is paying you, right? So you're not doing me a favor. Don't ever say that to me again. You did that twice when I went there. Don't ever say that to anybody. Anybody. Not doing them a favor. You're doing your job. All right. So get to work. All right. So anyway, the inspectors, once your plans are approved and you finish the work, they go out and inspect. You have plumbing inspectors, you have electrical inspectors, and you have building inspectors. And then they do a final inspection, and boom, they give you your new CFO because you changed the layout, and everything else is, and you move on. That's how it's supposed to work. And it's not supposed to be that difficult. It's not supposed to take 2.5 years. It's not supposed to, cause a business owner to go crazy and go into the building department, and lose his mind. and almost get arrested, and whatever else they wanted to do to me. So, then this is the problem that we have here with the building department. And I'm glad that they seem to want to be doing something about it. I just hope it's not for show. And I hope it's not because we got elections coming up soon, right? And you're finally wanting to fix this building department because it's become so damn obvious. I mean, is it any more obvious that they don't give a crap about us little people? Yeah, right? It's really obvious. So hopefully that they'll get it together. By the way, if you're looking for a job, if you have plan examiner experience, they're going to be looking for two people. And that's another thing that people have been saying. Where did they post the job for the commissioner? They actually posted on their website, the City of Yonkers website. It is posted there. I shared the link as well as the posting on my page. So if you feel like you're a qualified candidate, there you go. There you go. I have to be fair. It is up there. There you go. Will you get hired? Probably not, but there you go. So hey, anyway, so yeah, so that's what it is. So anyway, with my issue is that they threatened to sue me there at my business because someone removed the wall. Now I'm responsible for dealing with it. And this is a lesson for other people when you're either going into a property to start put your business in it, and you're leasing it from somebody or even buying it, or you're buying a home. You may have to end up getting, or you may end up getting stuck with the previous people's nonsense of not doing something. Now you have to take care of it and you have to pay the money. And so the landlady should have never leased that place to me because of that issue. I shouldn't have to deal with something because she can't even tell me who removed the wall, and they had businesses in there prior to my business coming in. So that's very frustrating, and it would be very helpful if they had someone there at the building department, a few people that can attend to situations like this that are a little bit unique in that no one knows where this wall went, but you want them to explain it. I can't. So that's instead of getting threatened to get shut down, violations, threatened to get a warrant to enter my place, as if, I mean, what is I'm committing a crime? I mean, you get a warrant for what? I mean, you know. Anyway, so that's how the process goes. We'll see how it goes. I believe Mr. Borelli is going to be the guy. They say it's all about managerial experience when it comes to the commissioner. Look, I don't want to be negative, but honestly, my belief is that you should be a professional engineer. I mean, the boss of all bosses at the place should know everything. I mean, you're going to go to a subordinate and say, hey, is this correct? I mean, I can manage you. I scheduled you to work from 9 to 5, but I don't know if, this wall is going to hold. Can you tell me? I just think that's weird. I just think that that person should be should know. You know what I mean? He should know more than everybody else. Not, and I don't see how you can't find someone who's a licensed engineer or architect or whatever, professional engineer that doesn't know how to manage. I mean, he managed his life to become an engineer, right? And that's not easy. So he's got to learn how to manage, and everything has a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Everything has a learning curve. So I mean, this guy's even going to have a learning curve because if he doesn't know anything about engineering, what is he going to do? Just schedule people? All right, make sure you're here at 9. All right, all right. Do we have enough vehicles? Okay, yeah, boom, bam, beam. But that's it. Couldn't you get like a subordinate person to do that, like an underling, to do that stuff? That seems like operational stuff, really just about somebody getting in there and cracking the whip. You know what I mean? And say, hey, get to work, guys. Don't just hang out in front of the building department here, right by the door where you have to walk in where we go pay our tickets, Everybody's gonna see you guys there chilling. So yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but hey, what do I know? What do I know? I'm no expert. I just talk a lot of crap on a microphone. Anyway. So really quick, I do want to go over this. I think it's important really quick. According to the meeting, the building department has 50 full-time staff. Like I mentioned before, they get about 20 to 30 apps a day are filed. Their annual budget is $5.6 million, and they generate a revenue yearly of about $8.9 million. All right. So now you just got to show us where that money goes, and then we'd be good. Just put that out there real quick. If you don't mind me, Mr. Landy, just where did the $8.9 million? I'm sure, it went to salaries. I understand that, and, whatever else, but put that out there. We want to see the expenditures. All right. We want to see the ins and outs of the accounting. Anyway, I want to move on to some interesting news that I heard today regarding the Yonkers Democratic Committee. those Democrats are at it again. Apparently, things got a little wild at the meeting that consists of the commissioner, or I should say, I'm sorry, I'm thinking commissioner, chairman of the Democratic Party, deputy chair, all the little ward leaders. Who are those people, anyways? Can anyone produce a list of all the ward leaders here in the city of Yonkers? I would love that. Maybe there is some way I can go see who they are because I need to know. If you can provide that, I would greatly appreciate it. But anyway, well, the king of the Democratic Party, Tom Meyer, was speaking and apparently went into a rant about an individual who wanted to run for a position here in the city. I don't know if I should say the position. Maybe I should. Can I say it? And apparently, Tom Meyer does not want this gentleman running in the primary coming up and spoke negatively about him in front of all these people, went on a rant, and even insulted the gentleman's mom. I mean, really? We're talking about mama? We doing mama jokes? Chairman of the Democratic Committee in here in Yonkers talking about somebody's mama? If this was third grade, Tom, I would have fought you. Because I did fight somebody in third grade when they said something about my mama. Don't talk about my mother. But apparently, Tom went on a rant, discussed everything about this gentleman, including his mom. Why? Why would you bring her up? And what does this have to do with the recent appointment of Judge Ada Medina? Anyone know? Anyone? Well, apparently, Ada Medina was chosen by the mayor, although he had no idea who she was or anything else about her. As fact, she was presented to him, and she was not one of the top 5 choices. As some or many may know, Tom Daley was actually named as Tom Quinones' replacement. And then it was announced, I don't want to say at the 11th hour. It was the next day, the day of. It was announced that they would be naming Ada Medina. And I hate to even mention, I'm going to tell you, I hate to talk about this like this because she's Latina and she's a woman. And I feel bad. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. But I have to talk about it because it is politics and it's relevant. According to my sources, Ada Medina was chosen because she is a Latina and because she is woman, making her difficult to oppose. Now, I say this not to take any credit away from Ada Medina, who comes from legal aid. I don't want to take anything away from the woman. In fact, I want to congratulate her once again as a lot. Well, I'm Hispanic. I'm Puerto Rican, but I rock with the Latinos too. And as a fellow human who speaks Spanish, who originated from a Spanish-speaking place, I'm a Hispanic. I am very proud, and I hate to say anything negative, and I'm not. I'm just going to say that from my sources, the reason why they chose Ada, who was, again, not one of the top 5, because she would be difficult to beat. I mean, how can you vote for a white man over a Latina? That's a big no-no, especially in today's society. And I'm going to just say this. I wish her the best. I'm very proud. Congratulations. I'm assuming, everything is well deserved. I don't know you personally. I don't know everything about you. So you deserve it. Probably so. Great. Amazing. Congratulations. And I was very happy to see that. But I never, and this for any color, any race, never, or anyone, never choose anyone because of their color, their race. It always must be by their merit. Always. And we must always maintain that. The same way we must always maintain term limits. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So now, any white male looking to run for judge will probably not run. And that's just a fact. That's a fact. That was a good move. Checkmate. Well, that's what apparently is what some are saying. And according to sources who were there at the meeting and heard Tom Myers rant, and why would he care? Why would he care if another Democrat wants to run for judge? Why would he be so upset that he would go off on a rant, talk about the guy's mom? Why? Why would he re- retaliate against the man by causing problems for a relative of his that works in DPW over there at the Nepperhan garage? And that's just not okay. That's just not okay. And we should, as a Hispanic and as a father to two black beautiful babies and married to a beautiful black woman, I love very dearly, very much. She's black, guys. I know she's got green eyes. She's light skinned, and people get upset when they speak Spanish to her and she doesn't know what they're saying. But she's black. And as a husband, again, to a black woman and father to black kids, I'm always going to be champion for I guess my people, but all my people. I'm a human at the end of the day, and we all humans. Number one, but I never and don't allow us, I should say, to be watered down in any manner. Let us be used, put in positions to simply fulfill the agendas of others, particularly a white male, right? Ultimately, it's a white male that's still in charge. It could be a Latina, it could be a black woman. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, I want true respect. I don't want to be given a position so I can be an attaboy. Not no attaboy. Not an attaboy. And I'm not saying that anyone is. I'm not accusing anyone. This is in general, because this oftentimes happens. It oftentimes happens. So that should not be happening, nor should anyone feel threatened if they want to run for office here in the city of Yonkers. No one. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter. Again, we need to start to focus on the fact that we are humans all facing similar struggles, regardless of color. We face similar struggles. We all do, and we're facing many in these times. So I just want to say that let us not be watered down to my Hispanics, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, black people, black Americans. Let it not be used. Let us not be watered down by those who seek to fulfill an agenda and are simply moving us into place as a chess piece. So if you do get moved into a position like a chess piece, you need to start to do your own thing now. Be independent. You're there. Listen to no one but yourself now. And if it doesn't work out for your future success in politics, you still leave with respect. And that's always a good thing. Tell us more about the rant from Tom Myers. Not getting it. I support people doing the right thing, irrespective of their race, gender. Well, the issue is that a gentleman wanted to run for, let's just put it out there, judge. And they didn't want him to run for judge. They didn't want him. They had their people who they wanted. And Tom Daley was going to be the guy that they wanted. But this gentleman, he was, he says, "No, I'm going to run. I don't care what you guys think." And he was going to oppose the machine, and then they started to, find ways to not, allow him to succeed in his attempt to become the city court judge, to fill Tom Quinones' seat. So what ended up happening from sources is that Mr. Meyer, Tom Meyer, then began to give problems to a relative that works over at DPW, by writing him up, sending him home, and then threatening to fire him if his brother were to win and become judge. So because this guy was not going to give up, attorneys were involved. Then they went about it a different way, and they found a Latina woman to fill the spot. So it'd make it difficult for this gentleman to win, because again, who's going to vote for a white man over a Latina woman, especially in this climate that we in, and when we talk about race? And so my point is that I don't want to be used as like in any manner. And I'm not saying that again, I'm not saying anyone specifically but I do, and I have seen this. It's just a fact that many times a Hispanic or a black person will get into a position, and they'll do the bidding of a white person, a white man ultimately, and even at the expense of their own people. And that's not okay with me. And that's not okay with me. We should all be just equal to each other. You should never look at race. Unfortunately, I'm just a naive or wish or idealistic, person, and thinking that we don't. Why do we look at that? I really don't look at that when I see people. I don't. It's just only when I hear it in the news and I hear it brought up all the time, and I'm just like, all right, And I've had people be to me, racist towards me, but I've also had my own family call CPS on me. So I mean, right? I'd rather the person be racist toward me than have CPS knocking on my door for no apparent reason, because I have a family member that now has a vendetta on me. And that's a fellow Hispanic. So I mean, let's just keep it all the way 1,000, and let's not, act like things like this don't happen. And I see this often, and I'm just saying that, we could take pride in the fact that we are in a position, but if we're not doing right by that position, if we're not operating in an ethical manner, and especially if we are not using that position to help our people because we're worrying about, some other race, you know what I mean? Then that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. And you're not, so what I'm saying is that, and so it's all strategy sometime, and we have to be careful that we don't get utilized in someone's strategy, is what I'm saying. And a strategy to keep a certain individual from becoming city court judge is to put in a Hispanic or Latino or whatever, so that way they could win. Right? That's not okay to me because you're being used. You're being used essentially. So that's not okay. So let's not allow us to be used. That's what I'm saying. And I've seen it time and time again. I've been in the business world enough, long enough to to see it a lot. I see it a lot. I see it a lot. And some people will gladly, as they say, ish on their own people to get ahead. And I've seen it many times with my own eyes. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. So we can, be happy. And in the meeting recently, city council meeting, they talked about Martin Luther King and how it was a great man. The meeting was about a half hour, probably the longest meeting that they've done. And they talked about Martin Luther King, his birthday's coming up, or did it come? I'm sorry, it's 15th, I believe. And and all these wonderful things. Yet and still there are black people, right? And Hispanics, like, and white. There's white people too down in Getty Square that are homeless and that are addicted to drugs or have mental issues. It's every color. Actually, I don't see any Asian people. I never see anybody see Asian homeless people, uh, or Jewish. I've never seen a homeless person with a yarmulke. I just never seen that. But if you go down to Getty Square, you will see blacks, you will see Latinos, and you will see whites standing in the cold all day long with some mental health issue, drug addiction. And what are they doing? They're worrying about the developers. So don't talk to me about this Martin Luther King and all this. I have a dream if you ain't even fulfilling his dream. You think because you made it that that's not he? You think he wanted to make it? That was his dream that I make and look at me, or was it that he brought and uplifted all his people and everyone? because Martin Luther King was never just about you wanted everyone to be the same. So that's just what I'm saying. I don't want to go off on a Tom Meyer rant, but that's just the facts. Don't talk about Martin Luther King and all this and that if at the end of the day you shitting on your own people. What are you doing for them? You're doing everything for these white developers, and they're not even white, or whatever. There's some Jewish, Russian developers, but look what you're doing to the black and brown people that live in that community. You're forcing them out of their homes. You're causing their rents to be increased. There's limited space, and yes, some of the, like Mofa Garden is being rehabbed, but it's not creating new units. There were people in there at one point, right? So you take them out and you do it new, and then so where do those people go? Right. So what I'm saying is that let's see more, and I see them trying to do things. I see that people are doing things that I've mentioned, I've said, and they're doing it, but I don't really care as long as it gets done. I don't care if you want to take the credit for it, as long as you do it, as long as it's happening, as long as I see things are getting done for kids and the youth. I don't care who does it, because people also want to be taking credit. Everybody want to be somebody. You are somebody. You don't have to have a title. You born somebody. That's the greatest secret. We are born somebody. We are somebody all our lives. We don't need a fancy car and a big house. That doesn't make you nobody or a title. That's the biggest secret. We've been bamboozled. Allegedly, Meyer was bullying his brother. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you said it. I tried to limit the but listen, it is the truth. It is what it is, right? It's his brother. He was still going to run, so they ran his boss allegedly. Oh, is that who she is? Ada was his boss? But you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't want to be a pawn in anyone's strategy. I don't. That's just not who I am. Maybe that's why I am where I'm at. Well, I don't need your job. You know what I mean? Make it to where you don't need their job. He needs to run away. Tom Meyer needs to run away. And his son also got a nice cushy job, I hear. What the hell? This is crazy. Race shouldn't matter. I'm white and I support all. We are equal. Absolutely. And now if you're white, you are wrong. This is insane, decisive, and exclusionary. I think the powers that be are using their own agenda. Absolutely. But that's my point. That strategies are being created based on race. And that's not okay. That's not okay to me. I'm a Puerto Rican. Look, I've been through racism. I've experienced, people look down on me, white people. But do I hate all white people? Because no. Do I go around thinking every white person is racist? No. Because if I did that, then I would have to assume that every Puerto Rican is going to call CPS on me. Right? And that wouldn't be right, just because my aunt did it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't generalize in that way. I judge people by their each individual interaction with that individual person. It doesn't matter if I can't, I can understand some stereotype, I kind of can, but that's not everybody still. And to still generalize is idiotic. And so I believe that racists are a bunch of idiots. People who are truly racist are a bunch of idiots, low IQ people, you know? That's my opinion. But yeah, these agendas or these strategies that are created by some of the elected officials or whatever, some other people, the puppet masters revolve around race. Look, I'm happy that there's 4 Latina women on the city council. I'm not trying to take away from that. Imagine if a white person was saying what I'm saying right now. What do you think would happen? It would be maybe I'm still gonna get some flack for this, but the reality is that I speak the truth. I speak the truth, and there's 4 Latina or I should say 4 black women, a corazon, Dominican black still, and that's great. That's amazing. But is it great just because they're there, or is it great because not they there and then boom, they did something? Boom, like something big. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Do something big. Don't just okay, y'all and then I did nothing. Y'all just helped the developers, and your people was kicked out of the area. Zoning, that whole rezoning, redistricting thing. I hear certain Hispanic help redistrict, with redistricting in the city of Yonkers to help the Republicans, and again, and they were white individuals. So, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that Think about that, folks, because before you get all happy that we see certain individuals of color in a position, because at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the ones calling the shots. And it could have very well been a strategy used by the powers that be, because there's so much. Like, think about it. Think about it. Go to Getty Square. I'm just saying, go to Getty Square. What do you see there? You see blacks and you do see whites. I'm going to say it. I do. I see white people too. So it's all colors. This is not about a race. But my point I'm trying to make is that you see blacks and you see Hispanics. They're struggling. A lot of the violence recently, the shootings have impacted blacks and Latinos recently. You don't see white people getting shot up on Central Avenue, right? And I'm not saying that white people don't commit crime, because they absolutely do. Absolutely they do. Because humans commit crime, because that's humans. That's a human being. Unfortunately, too bad we're not animals, because animals behave better than us. You don't see animals shooting each other. And in my neighborhood, I see the gray squirrel and the black squirrel getting along just fine. And in fact, they work together to go into my garbage. One looks out and the other one gets the food. So, why can't we be like the squirrels, right? But yeah, that's how it is. So you see, who are being impacted negatively. It's black and Latino. So I don't want to get happy just because. Just because I say, oh, look, we got a black president, we got a Latino president, and if they do nothing, and if they get rich and we still broke, F him. He ain't do nothing for us. Right? It's just we gotta stop that. And we can't allow us to be manipulated that way, because that is a form of manipulation. We're being manipulated, Latinos and blacks, into thinking something great. And by the way, Tasha Diaz is going to be at Chicken Island giving out hot cocoa. You got the marshmallows? You getting the marshmallows in there? Better be with the marshmallows. And I don't want white marshmallows. Better be Latino marshmallows. I want brown marshmallows. Anyway, Tasha Diaz is going to be at Chicken Island. She's going to be giving out hot cocoa. That is a fact. And some other treats for the whole community. She's inviting the entire community. Now, AMS, I'm talking to you guys. Do you have liability insurance? Are you guys good? Because that is your property now. It's not owned by the city. And God forbid, and all the lawsuit people, I know these guys. I know guys that they like professional lawsuit guys. They always getting a lawsuit, 20,000 here, 40,000 there. So all the lawsuit guys, go to Chicken Island and trip, okay? Go trip and sue. That's private property. So I want to know, are you getting insurance? Are they allowing you? You guys are going to be okay with having the whole community come to Chicken Island? Because we all going to trip and sue your rich asses, I'm just saying. So when you do those food distributions there, that's private property. So are you, what are I wouldn't necessarily want a bunch of people on my property, because God forbid someone gets hurt, I'm going to get sued. What are you doing there giving out, meat? What are these people doing? That's what your insurance company is going to say. So you got to be careful, AMS. I'm just trying to help you guys. I want to help you guys save money. I mean, you guys, want to need to make all the money you can make, rich guys. It won't stop until we take a stand and stop it. Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why I'm over here ranting and going crazy. I'm trying to get you guys to understand what's going on here in the city of Yonkers and why decisions are being made the way they're being made. And by the way, I want to shout out, what? I'm not going to say nothing right now. I'll say after the fact. I don't want to mention, I don't like to jinx stuff. But anyway, yeah. So we have to be careful that, that we're not being manipulated, and especially us Latinos and blacks, because we're always seem to get the short end of the stick. Guys, it's time we take, we run this. It's enough of us Hispanics. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I don't want to scare nobody that's not Hispanic. I mean that we have a force of voters, the American way of life. We have a big a voting base, Latinos, here in Yonkers, right? Almost 90,000. And I'm not saying everyone can vote. So cut that in half, 45,000. That's still double, or more than double, than the amount of people that came out to vote for the city council race. So if at least 30,000 of us Latinos come out to vote, we could control whoever wins. Think about that. We control who wins if 30,000 of us Latinos come out to vote. We will control. Just think about that, okay? And I really want you to think about that. And that's not to scare anybody that's not Latino. Relax, I'm just saying, I'm trying to get, us involved more. It's very important that we are involved and that we understand what's going on so we're not easily, just satisfied with these, hot cocoa distributions and stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever. And free COVID tests that are going to give you the COVID. Shh, don't say I didn't tell nobody. The fourth district will pick up more of the Bronx River Road. Yes, that's what I've been hearing, making the district more democratic. The fourth district. Well, make sure you let everybody know that Rubo was a Republican. Okay. And once upon a time, this is what he enjoyed doing. And Donald J. Trump, the 45th president, Rubo, Rubo. There goes Henry D. John Balaj. His sister ran against Rubo, Rubo in the election, but she lost because she didn't put out any posters against Rubo. So just think about the games that are played. Okay. These two Republicans, right, that went to go hang out with Donald Trump. Okay, Black and Latino, I'm talking to you guys now, especially know that big BLM thing down over there by the city hall. So pay attention to this. They were down at the Trump, hanging out with all the Trumpsters, the red hat guys. And then his sister decided to run against him for the working family line. Not the Republican, although they went to Donald J. And she didn't put any signs or nothing. And she still got 300 votes. Just think about that. So is he a true Democrat? I don't care how much meat you sling at Serrato Park and at Chicken Island now, Rubo, you'll never be a true Democrat. You'll never be a true Democrat. Always going to be a Republican in my eyes. Just saying. Just saying. I'm happy that the council No, me too. I'm complete. Listen, I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I don't want us to be used either, because diversifying it for the sake of diversifying it, but at the end of the day, the decisions are still made by all white males, rich white males. Really, is it really diversified, or is it just appearing to be diversified, right? So perception and reality will always be two separate things, although for some reason our society loves perception. It's what we now operate more under for whatever reason. Uh, anyway, but I believe that every elected official has responsibility to make things better. Absolutely. And for everybody, not just for a certain race, because if you're black, I'm just only going to help black people. I'm Puerto Rican. No, I'm not saying that. But I mean, you got to understand, right? It's like if you're Irish and you see your people struggling, or you're Italian and you see your people struggling, you're going to want to help them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. And I don't mean by giving them handouts. I mean by showing them how to really make something of themselves. Okay? Because it's a lot better where I'm at in life now than where I was standing in line at the church for orange cheese. Okay. I don't want to be ever there in my life, and I never wanted my kids to be there. So, had I not learned how to produce for myself, my kids would be there waiting in that same line like me, or the bread truck where we got free bread from. Those are handouts. And while they're great because people are hungry and they need to fill their belly right at that second, we have to get out of the poverty that we are in. And for, some reason, it seems like Hispanics and blacks have remained in a cycle of poverty more than any other race, ethnicity, or whatever else. If for some reason, I mean, you see people that come from India, they come here, they may be poor, one generation. Next generation, doctors, right? Same, with Asian Americans. They come here poor, maybe one generation. Next generation, they own a bunch of businesses. And they whether and you could be stereotyping, with nail salons or grocery stores or even a Chinese, it's still a business that they own. It's theirs, and they do it under their own terms. And for some reason, you see Latinos still on the system too much. And that's a problem that I have. And I don't like that. And I want to see my people doing more. I want to see more people that look like me, Puerto Rican, Dominicans, owning businesses, buildings, you know, CEOs, and doing it not because that's someone's agenda and they're being used, but they're just a puppet. And that's all I'm saying. And I want to not, and they don't even have to be that. Just getting out of poverty, just breaking the cycle of poverty, and not being dependent on a Section 8 voucher. Because look at what they do to you. You're at the will of and the mercy of individuals who look like you, but necessarily don't care about you. And that's just what I'm saying. You know, uh, get out Latinos to vote, educate and inform, and you will be a force for America. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. America, I mean, Latinos especially, we are a huge population, but, I really want us to all just be one. Americans, and I hate to really talk about I really do. I don't, I cringe almost, when I say, oh, you're a black person, or you're a white person, or you're Irish, whatever, a brown person. I really cringe because it's just so silly. It's so silly, because your color, your skin doesn't really mean that you're going to all be the same. It's not. And I've learned that when I moved to Oklahoma, when I met black people in Oklahoma, they're not black people. Like I'm more black than the black people in Oklahoma. I'm just saying, that's a joke I used to make, because the black people in Oklahoma probably would be more like a upper white middle class here in New York. That's how they, because it was just they were very successful. They they educated, and so they spoke white, like like they say, well, really it's educated. So but again, I love all people, all colors. And all I'm saying, and going back, because I don't want to, I went on a whole rant about everything. But I just don't want to make sure, I want to make sure, I want to just put that fact out there, right? Because we see what's happening, with Tom Meyer, that's not okay. And these are the powers that be. These are the puppet masters, right? The people that pull the strings, and they make things appear to be a certain way, and people may not always understand really what's going on, and the fact that they manipulate, or you can manipulate a campaign or a whole election by you know using a Latina woman. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what she's being you, I'm just saying, but potentially using a Latina woman, right? And then or harassing a brother of somebody that wants to run for that position, all to prevent that person from actually running for the position and even in winning, you know, that's manipulating campaigns and election. And that's not okay. That's not okay. So we have to forget about the colors and everything else. Now we have to focus on that, because that is like the first priority in the whole mess, of it all. So, just be careful, my Latinas and Black sisters, those on the council. I have spoken to, I'm not going to say who about this, and I was told that they already know they're going to be strong willed, independent, and they're going to do what's right for the people. And I hope that is the case. I really do hope that's the case. And I will be watching. And I'm going to say if it's not. You know me. You know me. I'm talking to who. You know me. I'm going to say it. It's all love. No matter what, it's always all love. All right. Remember that. It's always all love. And you have to understand that by the fact how, because I'm a lovable guy. I want to love everybody. Yeah, I want to love you too, Tom. You gotta leave that. You gotta leave homie alone, okay? And stop talking about people's mom. It's not okay. You're a grown man, especially in a Democratic meeting. That's way inappropriate. Way inappropriate. There's no reason why you should bring up anybody's mother. Never, never. And back where I come from, that's fighting words. And I actually have literally 4 people because of that. I was a lot younger. I was in elementary school, but I should never ever have any place in anywhere, in anywhere at all, let alone in a Democratic committee meeting, in front of a bunch of people like that. So, you know, cool it down. We need to change our tyrannical, local government to a true democracy. If someone wants to run for office, they should run. The only way to do that is to vote. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying we need to come out and vote. And that's why I'm encouraging Latinos specifically to come out and vote. And that, we do have a strong voice. And I think that for the most part, we all want the same thing. So for again, for the most part, our votes should pretty much be the same. If we want good schools, safe neighborhoods, low taxes, low water bills. You know what I mean? We don't want to have to fight for the top three schools that we want to get our kids in. So we all want that. It doesn't matter what color you are. So that's why I'm saying to Latinos, it's important to vote because your vote, if we vote in the way that best serves the people, would align with other whites, will align with blacks who all want to see nothing but the best for Yonkers. And that's all I'm saying. So, and that's how we build unity. But anyway, Mr. Meyer, I got enough on you. Meyer has no respect for women. Yeah, he is part of the good old boys club, a bully. Although I hear he does like judges. Just saying. Cool it now. Cool it now. You better cool it down. Ooh, watch out. I think I know what you're saying. No, but I've heard a lot of interesting stuff. I have, and I don't want to go that. I try to. I'm glad that you guys. I want you guys to bring it up, and I will say I want you guys to bring it up, but I don't want to bring it because they're gonna attack me for it. Freddie's just a gossip guy, and I know I don't want to do that. So I want to stick to that. But I'm glad you said that, and I think I know what you're saying. I think I know what you're saying. That's very interesting, man. Yonkers, we could have a Netflix series, right, Yonkers? I think I'm gonna call up. Hey, look, we got Lionsgate here, by the way. And by the way, they are doing an expansion. I think it's a $500 million expansion. 8 acres, I believe. Where are they getting that land from? And by the way, I heard that they're doing a program where they're going to take students from the schools, the high schools. I don't look. I'm not trying to look for credit, but come on, you know what I mean? Come on, don't do things like that. You could call me. I want to be involved. I just think it's interesting. You know what I mean? I did mention it to certain people. You know who you are. I mean, if you are doing that, I would like to have been involved. I used to do music and stuff like that, music recording and all that. But anyway, Lionsgate will be, expanding $500 million expansion, 8 acres, I believe, where they're getting this land. And, for people, I keep saying it's great for Yonkers. It's great for Yonkers. Well, certain people anyway. It's great. How is it great for Yonkers? I mean, they're not putting people from Yonkers in the next, blockbuster hit movie. What I see happening is this: actors and actresses, actors, whatever, are gonna come from the LA, Hollywood Hills pads, fly into New York, not even Westchester County Airport in their private jet, rolling their limo into Yonkers to Lionsgate, film their little scene, and roll right up out of here. And all the people that are working on the production, they're not going to be from Yonkers either. You know what I'm saying? So it's how is it if they're getting tax breaks or on top of that? So now how is it benefiting people from Yonkers? Local labor is not getting the work on that, right? Um, I don't what actors are from Yonkers are gonna be and what are you gonna hire extra? So you're gonna walk by with a hat on and nobody's gonna ever see you. Okay, cool. I guess you'll get your little $100 for the day. That's cool if that's what you want to do with your life. But I know people in film industry in production, and that's not a job that you just get. Like if you're gonna apply, you just want to work at CVS or ShopRite. Like you don't just get it like that. Those people been in that business for a very long time. It's unionized, and so they're gonna already have people who have been working in it that are going to be on the sets. So that's not going to, I don't see how Yonkers is going to benefit. We all losses. We taking losses there because it's just going to make the area more crowded with people coming in and then just leaving. Right? How is it going to benefit Yonkers? How? Tom Hanks isn't moving into the waterfront. He's not. Dwayne Johnson is not going to move, you know, to Beechwood. The city council is bought and paid for by the mayor. But that's my thing. If that's I hear that a lot, and that's why I say that, it's I don't want us being used, that's we're gonna look like fools. Like, it's great that it's diverse. In a way, it's not diverse, I get actually. There's only two white people. Is that diversity? We gotta throw an Asian person in there. We took out the Arabic. I mean, they took the Arabic guy out. I mean, that would have been more diversity. What else we need to make it diverse? I used to be my group of friends in high school. We were called the United Nations because we were so diverse. Jewish guy, Puerto Rican guy, Pakistani. African American. Obviously, Italian, Irish, German. So we all got along, and it was beautiful. But I don't see it being very diverse, actually. Judges are impartial, not supposed to be political. So hands off. Maya has nothing to do with their wins or losses. Nah, not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you think about this, right? If someone wants to run for judge, right? But then his brother is threatened, with his job. They do a lot of different things to just make you say, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I don't, well, one, I don't want my brother to lose his job. I don't want to be attacked in other ways. That is, that is affecting a judge's race because now this person is not going to run. I've heard this too many times. I've heard people say they were going to run, but they scared. They're not going to do it. They were scared for their significant other who worked in a company that wasn't even in Yonkers. Who's going to touch that guy over there? Is it that? Can they really do that? So that is impacting elections. If you're preventing, scaring people off from running, so then I mean, look at the elections recently. Look at District 4's election. Was that a truly democratic election? I mean, a democratic race? Was that really? And there's sometimes they don't even have someone running. Like Corazon didn't run against anyone. Nobody ran against her. I don't think, or maybe in the primary, but that was it. And then what? They just slide right in. And then make deals with the Republicans. We won't run somebody here if you let us do this here. That's how it is. That's just how it is. That's the truth. And so, if you want a true democratic, process here in the city of Yonkers, then a lot's got to change. I'm just sorry to have to break the news. I'm sorry to have to break the news. Exactly, Freddie. If Meyer really pressured his brother who stood strong, it's political corruption and intimidation. Absolutely, absolutely. And this documented. There's documentation. It's documentation. So I'm not making this up. This isn't rumors. This is not just rumors. This is not just rumors. This is facts. And it's not okay. It's not okay. You know, it's not okay. Empowerment is not about a handout, free food giveaways. A corrupt political cycle perpetuates it. Latino and blacks alike. I believe all need to be encouraged, supported now. Yes, we are all together. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that that's not a good deed. All I'm saying is that we need to see long-term change, right? So if you give someone food today, they're good for today. But what about long term? And what about their children? And then generations, past that, right? What is those handouts? How are those handouts going to impact, the generational, have a generational impact on that family, I should say, right? How? It's great, but what I'm talking about is impacting individuals so they can break the cycle of poverty finally, because there are so many people still. I know I'm there all the time. I'm in certain areas of Yonkers all the time because I know that's where I'm from. I love it out there. I feel comfortable there. I just do. I mean, I live on Central Avenue on the other side over there. Scarsdale-ish area. Uh, uh, you know, but I feel Pizza Hut. But I like being on their side. I do. I do my people, and everybody's my people. I talk to everybody, but I do it. I know so many people there. You know, we do our business there, our thing, our nonprofit. So, you know, and we also have to understand that whoever is elected in District 1 does impact other districts. So if you're in District 4, if you're in District 5, these council people still impact you because they vote on certain things, that affect all the people in Yonkers. So remember that. So we need to be together. We definitely need more unity. I just wanted to put that out there about Mr. Meyer because again, it does, point to the potential political corruption that exists and the unethical influence on elections, even in judges' elections. Look at that. And I only wish I could say that judges were such honest people. If I could only really say that with confidence, you know, it's just unfortunate. We are in the days of Noah, folks, and we need to wake up. We need to see what's really happening if we want to make change here in the city of Yonkers. If we stay blind to it, if we stay asleep, it's nothing going to change. It's always going to be the same, and we can't complain. We can't say nothing about it. You're going to have people standing in front of Getty Square, freezing, addicted to drugs, struggling with mental health. You're going to still have people looking for affordable housing. You're going to still have other people filling their pockets up with money, and nothing's going to change, and we'll be here saying the same old thing. I'm hoping that we can actually make some change this year, 2022 onto 2023. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. Maybe I'm just an idealist. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm just stupid. But either way, I'm going to try because whatever I am, I know this for sure. I am Freddie Vasquez, and this is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you, everyone. May you have a blessed night and a blessed day tomorrow. It's Friday, TGIF. Let's get it, folks. Thank you for joining me. Once again, I appreciate it. Please share. I'm not going to tag, but people share. Please share. Get it out there. If you like the show, please share. Let a friend know. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Have a great night, folks. Thank you for joining me.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. No! I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Game over.
No!